Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us and welcome to another edition of What's Happening Wednesday. This is a weekly roundup show that I like to do on this channel, which again gives me the perfect opportunity to do exactly that. Keep you guys updated with things that are found going on in the world of Transformers. I let you know what's happening with this YouTube channel and of course my Instagram, which is Toys_R_Us. It's only like midway through the week and we've had a crazy past couple of days. Once again, this is going to be part one of 2 news updates. The other one is going to be in about 11-12 hours because obviously there's just so much going on at the moment. Some of these things we might have already seen, there might be a bit of a recap, but some of the things are quite new as well. This is something that just missed out on Friday's news because of the time frame that I did it. And this again is another brilliant insight from the Hasbro designers. This is from Evan Brooks's Instagram page. And this is where we're talking about the core class Dinobots. So what he's done is he's put some images up, which is brilliant. So he's put all 3 of the Dinobots together. Again, apologies for the glare, I'm at work trying to get this done for you guys right now. There is all the Dinobots. They are roughly all about the same height, but obviously Slug's got the helmet, which just makes him that little bit taller. And then of course we've got some action poses, and then in a second the important part is the combining mode. So there's a little note there obviously saying that he is intended to be the other leg. It's just obviously for these photos to show I suppose how he can be attached and indeed how they do combine. There's a lovely little note as well he's put on his Instagram page that all the best leaders of a team form a leg. Whether or not that's a little nod to Dino King, I'm not too sure. But again, I've been discussing on his Instagram page that anyway. We can also see there's a bit of an idea of how tall he's going to be. So obviously they've used 2 Grimlocks there, again, just for that reason, to give you an idea. So bigger than a Deluxe, but perhaps only about as big as a Voyager class figure. You can see though how articulate he is and indeed how sturdy and durable he is. So you've got the bending the knee, obviously the elevated, and the fact that he can support the entire weight of the rest of the combiner above him. And also as well, a lovely little note he's put on there that could obviously also become a great limb for the Junkians as well. So I really think we're going to see some amazing combinations and indeed crazy bots by these people who are just amazing at doing exactly that. Right, what we've got now, this is loads of Transformers toys and merchandise from a toy company named Forever Clever. I took this from TFW 2005, and there's an abundance of things. This information is what I was going to say. So there's loads of things. I'm going to show you a few of them. There's the things which you throw at the walls and they climb down. There's also, there you go, look, there's some shaped chalk. There's loads of different things. There's these gliders which you can fire off and it flies off up to 20 feet. You put Starscream or indeed Megatron on that. I suppose it's like a spring-loaded little launch pad, isn't it? And you just fire it off and of course they will fly off. They just look great fun. Hopefully they'll make it over here to UK shores and I'll be keeping my eye out for them, definitely. Right, this is again, I suppose, a bit of a recap, but more of, I suppose, an official display of all of the figures, the kids toy range that is coming out for Rise of the Beast. So we've got the battle masks at the bottom there, we've got the Bumblebee, which obviously is a bit like the Beast Warriors one, we've got the Optimus Prime that's a gun, and more specifically what it's saying here, this is the Rise of the Beasts Alliance toy line. And again, as I've already said, it's a kids focused main line for the toys of Rise of the Beasts. And what we can see in here, I'll just zoom in on a few of them. This is of course the mask. This is genius, to be honest. That's of course Bumblebee, and that does transform into that mask. That's just such a great gimmick. Then we've got some of the combiners, which is of course the twin packs. So you can see obviously how they will be packaged and indeed how they look, I suppose, next to each other and indeed combined. There is the Smash Optimus Prime that I believe was released, I think, beforehand, but it's just been repackaged and purposed for this toy line. And that's coming on to the next thing already. So some lucky people in Canada, legitimately, in shops, have found Metal Hawk and Twin Cast. I'm going to focus this particular news update on Metal Hawk and do Twin Cast in the other one. 2 figures again that I'm really excited about. I do love the Japanese continuity of figures. I think they're fantastic. That just made me chuckle, where obviously he's attacking his, I think it's Power of the Prime's little Metal Hawk self. He's got the amazing sword, which the Generation 1 figure's got. If you're new to the channel or if you haven't seen the G1 Metal Hawk, I've done a video review on him already. If you want to see that, that is on this channel. Just type his name into the search bar. But in all honesty, I'm thinking of updating that video anyway. There is the alternate mode. If you want these images, they're on TFW 2005 and tformers.com. This is such a fantastic homage to the Inner Pretender bot. There's nothing about this at all that shows anything apart from some of the accessories like the large sword with regards to the outer shell, whereas there's a lot of the figures like Bombburst and Iguanus have been an amalgamation of both to one. This is just purely Inner bot, and it is brilliant. Right down to the little guns that fit on the back of the jet, which are exactly the same with the Inner bot. It's just fantastic, and it's really difficult, them guns there, funnily enough, to see. Funny enough, there's the Power of the Primes one as well. What I'm about to say is how that this came about from the Cyclonus mould, because to me, I was so surprised. It looks so vastly different. There's only a few things I think which are the same. I mean, look, the chests are different, the arms are different, the wings are in different positions. Maybe the legs look slightly similar, but just an incredible use of the Cyclonus mould. One of my favourite moulds, one of my favourite figures in the last few years, in honesty. And indeed, one of my favourite figures of Generation 1 in Metalhawk. So I cannot wait to get this guy in hand and do some full-on comparisons. Really excited for this. Whoever took these photos, I do apologise. As I say, these aren't mine. I've taken these off the websites I just said. That is a great photo as well. Brilliant stuff. Right, last couple with this particular character. And there we go. Moving on to something else. So this is something I mentioned that was going to be happening. It happened over the weekend. So it's Renegade Con, which is a virtual like online thing like Hasbro Pulse Con, etc. But this is mainly due to, I suppose, deck building games and everything I'm about to read out to you now. Because if I hold my hand up and be really honest, I don't know too much about these. So this is to say Renegade Con's Virtual 2023. It was over the weekend. This is day one. Again, day two I've got later on. And it's basically around about the Transformers deck building game. So this is your card expansion packs, and it's going to see a new expansion titled War on Cybertron. And it's got a ton of new cards, over 175. It's also featured a brand new adventure book, a role-playing game adventure book called The Time Is Now. That's going to release in May, and it's an adventure for levels 1 through to 5 players. And again, there's a G.I. Joe deck building game that we've recently already seen. That's the crossover that we've seen recently, and they just covered this exactly the same as like a Hasbro Pulse Con, but with regards to this complete convention, just totally for these. So there's the packs and the building packs you can see. There's the booster packs. See, there you go, Renegade Con. Just wait. Again, exactly the same as we see with the Hasbro reveals. This was all done on their YouTube, so you can check this out as well. Full discussions as well. So for the people who love this, I know there's a lot of people who watch this. This is the book there. You can see there's a close-up. No, it's not a close-up image coming up in a minute of the book. For the people who are really into this, this is the game, the board game I mentioned earlier. You will find much more information on TFW 2005 and indeed on Renegade Con's actual website and YouTube. But again, for the people who are into them, it looks really good. I suppose I'd love to have the time to be able to play these sort of games. There's so much going on with these. They do look great. That's the G.I. Joe crossover that we've seen recently. And funnily enough, coming up to something else that we've seen recently, but what we've got now is updated with some newer images, and I suppose I can add a little bit more of a spin on top of it because of the meeting that I was in the other day. So this is, of course, Rise of the Beasts, Voyager class Rhinox. We've seen him we've seen the box pictures. We've seen a couple of these, but then there's some new images, obviously, because again, these have been found at retail. And funnily enough, in the roundtable meeting that I was in, Evan mentioned that with a lot of the beasts, they're going with more of a trans metals look, which is far more apparent in these photos. The fact that you can see, you know, the metal parts underneath and the detail you're going to see in a second, not only in the head sculpt, which is amazing, but also in the accessories. I mean, look at the bullets there on, of course, the accessories that he comes with. You can see the detail really gone into these. And again, in the actual beast, the differences are huge. Exactly that. Trans metals is the exact word to use, and they look spectacular together. I really, really do like this. Again, if you want better images like the glare, head to T-Formers or TFW 2005. This reminds me a bit of, like, I suppose, the Terminator with the endoskeleton underneath. Great figures. And this is just the main toy line. So this isn't the Studio Series versions yet. This is the main toy line. Sticking with Rise of the Beast toys, this is something else that we saw last week, but this is an actual in-hand image of it. So this is the Jada diecast die-cast 132 scale Optimus Prime, 13.5 centimeters long. There he is inside the packaging. There he is outside of the packaging. That looks great. Really impressed with the looks of that. And there indeed, of course, with it being the jar of toys, is Optimus Prime moulded into the underside. Right, last couple of things. This one is so good news for me. So obviously on the Transformers official YouTube channel, they've just put every single Generation 1 episode up made by Sunbow. What we're going on to now is Beast Wars. So I've got no excuse. I need to get these watched. It's episode 1, and of course they're going to, I would imagine, completely fill the library. So if you want to watch Beast Wars exactly like myself, it is available in 1080 pixels. And yeah, we can watch Beast Wars, the original series. Can't wait to watch that. This is something to recap, and I've got, finally I suppose now I've just calmed down from the excitement a bit more time to explain this absolute stunning little beauty that we've got here. So this is of course Origin Autobot Jazz, who was of course in the first episode as well. He's the one who drove past Soundwave whilst going to Icon City. There is the beautiful images. It is of course a faux chest. One thing I want to reiterate, and if you've not seen the video I've put up of the meeting, Mark did say that this is 100% new mold. So none of these parts were used with the Studio Series 86. So even down to new head, new absolutely everything. You can't see on here, but the fists, as I say, they roll in, they switch around a little bit like the Grapple, Inferno, Road Hauler, Artfire, etc., where you can flip the fist around and attach an accessory. We've already seen the accessory. You can't see it here, unfortunately. Unless I've got a picture of it coming up. I'm going to show you in a second actually. Yeah, it's the grappling hook. So in fact, there's the alternate mode, which you can see again is just looking amazing. I'm just blown away by this. What a surprise it was. That's the Generation 1 Jazz figure there. So again, you can see the similarities. And there's the grappling hook. And they even discussed and tried to get permission, shall we say, for the grappling hook to be able to launch and be attached by a teeny bit of string, but due to toy licensing, etc., it just wasn't given the go-ahead. So it's a nice touch. You can take it off, you can attach it inside the hand, you can attach it on the end of the gun. Just a brilliant little touch. And yeah, Mark was just as excited to show it to us all as we were all to, I suppose, receive and have a look at it. It's out of nowhere. The excitement for this figure is crazy at the moment. I wish I could tell you the exact dates. I wish I could tell you when the pre-orders were coming out, if there was going to be one, etc. Unfortunately, I can't, but I will be able to tell you as soon as I'm told. That's all I can tell you. Right, one final thing. I think this is again something that's new, that's just appeared. It looks to me to be a straight up redeco, a redeco obviously with some slight differences in the tool of Masterpiece movie Starscream. Only this time, this is the Revenge of the Fallen mold. So it's got, Revenge of the Fallen film with that particular deco, which looks so good. It really does. The metallic on it, I think, is popping. It looks like it's shining. Great attention to detail. There, of course, is the original Masterpiece movie Starscream next to it. So as I say, the main differences to me that I can see, and again, I don't own either of these, obviously, so please correct me if I'm wrong, is the main paint apps. With regards to not just the figure, but to the accessories as well. But these guys look great. I think the new Revenge of the Fallen one looks far more metallic, far more robotic, lovely gold touches there. Yeah, just as I say, at the moment they seem to be paying, which we want, obviously, this extra attention to detail on these figures. And they are doing a great job of this. There they are. One final, I think that's it with a comparison with the Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. Yeah, that is that. So that concludes part 1 with regards to the news so far. As I said, lots of things are being leaked, lots of things are appearing. In part 2, there's a couple of things that we're just going to recap. It's also going to give me a chance, if anything else happens overnight for my time, to let you know straight away. With regards to the channel, I'm still in the process of a move room around. That made no sense, sorry. Moving the rooms around, moving to a new, and getting everything set up. It's taking far longer than I ever anticipated. So again, thank you everybody for bearing with me. I'd much rather be doing these at home where there's less glare. There's still going to be a bit, but I'd much rather be doing them where there's a bit less glare. And some more reviews. I'm going to get Snarl, the G1, because of all the mayhem that's going on about the Studio Series at the moment. Just the G1 version of that up for tomorrow or Wednesday later, depending on wherever you are in the world. I've got Beast Wars Inferno and Beast Wars Dragon Meg, not Beast Wars, Legacy Inferno from Beast Wars and Legacy Transmetal Megs to get hold of, sorry not to get hold of, to get out of the box. I'm so bad at the moment, I'm so far behind. I've got to get them out and have a look at them and get them reviewed as well, hopefully for the weekend. And I'm going to do a few more collection updates as well that people are asking for me on Instagram with a couple more reels. Again, I'm very open to requests. Contact me on here, leave in the comments, or indeed on my Instagram, which is toys_rus. Once again, it's an absolute pleasure doing this for you guys. I've just had a great week already, I'm sure you can tell, and we're only on Wednesday. Thank you ever so much for the support. Anybody who's watching this, liking this, or if you're new to the channel, yeah, thank you ever so much, channel members and everybody else. Take care.